Welcome, Andreas here with another edition of 100 Things Men Can Do Now. I'm sitting with David Lindgren in his new home, and we're going to do part 2 of anger for, not anger against. So David, tell us a little bit about this concept of being angry for.
A lot of my thing is about trying to stimulate lovers' sense of purpose in the world. And the pandemic, in effect, keeps us kind of shying away from being more vigorous in the world. And we have to change all the time. I know for me, I have a lot of anger against in terms of being controlled by things and having to continually readjust and find new ways of being in the world all the time. So the whole business of trying to have higher values of gratitude and graciousness and generosity and love for others and connectivity and all that can be kind of shut down. And if you just do kind of a more passive, reflective thing about meditating or whatever else, which is still good, but for a lot of people, there's a flood of anger against that's out there.
Does it take more work and effort to be angry for something than angry
Yes.
against? Anger for seems like an obvious knee-jerk reaction or an automatic reaction.
Well, it's this whole thing about if you're angry against, how can you compensate for that in some way? Because right today, most people, their anger against has been increased.
They're frustrated. They're locked in. They're confined.
Yeah.
People are telling them what to do, especially
Yeah.
what not to do. You can't do this. You can't do that. So,
Yeah.
how do you get that action for?
Yeah, well, the way to get action for is to understand that the basic element about anger comes out of the lower brainstem fight or flight mechanism. And you can choose to retreat and flight, or you can be angry now. So you don't want to be, that can be anger against. But the for is that your values that you believe in, and that sometimes you might be restricted in terms of some sense of doing it. And one of the major things is connectivity with others, being connected to others. I want to reach out and care for people, a lot of that. So that's what's fueling me, is that I want to embrace the values that I have in the world and live my mission in the world. And sometimes I have to precipitate it with some anger for things.
So, tell me about your mission and how this relates.
So mine is I care enough to challenge myself to be spiritually awake in living missions of love and service.
But you care enough to challenge others too, I recall.
I challenge myself and others. Did I say others?
No, you didn't yet.
That's good. Well, I challenge myself and others. Okay, good. So, yeah, I
Challenge me plenty, and I
you
sometimes
challenge
give
me
it
too.
back.
But
Yeah.
the point is that I think that in challenging others, you can do it to get them to be spiritually awake, but do it lovingly too. Not gently loving, be more aggressively loving somebody. You can really go for caring about them. We were just on the phone with a brother, and we made comments at the end, listening to him go through some things. But to care about him and love him, and not hold back from that. To be really more aggressive in terms of being angry for and getting our love out there in the world.
What about other connections with other people?
Well, thank you. I have a very strong view that people need to be more assertive, I'll say, not aggressive, but assertive in connecting up with more people. I set a goal every day of calling at least 10 people about reaching out to them or getting them involved in some project or something. So that's when I believe in connectivity. We had a live gathering in a park a couple of Saturdays ago, and that was tremendous. It is different when you're together with people, the kinesthetic cues and sensation and bodily and all that is so much different than just on Zoom.
We're growing some of those outreaches, right?
Yeah.
I see. So, in general, you're out there making outreach to people, you're doing action-oriented activities, you're calling people. What else can you suggest?
The connectivity of loved ones, but my family. This is really heartfelt. My two children and my grandchildren live out west. I really wanted to reach them. I wanted to reach them and be connected with them and give my granddaughter a big hug before she goes off to college.
And they feel your desire to connect.
Yeah. But I was, what moves me to this anger for, if I just try to be sitting back waiting, that doesn't work for me. Remembering my mission to challenge myself and others. So I want to be leaning forward in doing this.
Lean into the work. Do something
Yeah.
proactive. Any other ideas we can share with the men? Share with our viewing audience here on YouTube?
No, that's a lot of it. I think I had some notes on this, but
You talked about making donations. You actually have men that you connect with, the people on the street, people you meet.
oh yeah, that's been a long. That's I really see. I see the increase in homelessness. I've been in connection also with some mental health facilities about what they're doing to underprivileged people in the community and all that kind of stuff going on. But yeah, homeless people, I embrace them and always give them money
So you not only are at the theoretical level, but you're actually putting some greenbacks in people's hands and changing their lives, right? Haven't you brought men to groups? Haven't you brought homeless people?
Here's the other one.
I know you personally have done that.
We've donated, raised money to get men to come to trainings, but here's the thing: the summarization about what we're talking about is that to get moving, to step into purpose, to step into creating some priorities in life, there has to be some anger for it. That's what I feel, and otherwise, I don't know about the
You
rest.
put your heart into it, you turn that anger into action. Right?
Yeah.
And it's anger with love attached instead of anger with...
The love, assertively loving and not holding back and being passive about it. So.
Well, thank you. Anything else?
No, that's
Wrap?
it. Thanks for asking me, Andreas.
Great job. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Till next time.
All right.
100 Things Men Can Do Now. I'm Andreas, and this is 100 Things Men Can Do Now. And my personal mission is to encourage with enthusiasm. So I hope you feel that I'm encouraging everyone out there to live their mission and to be active and proactive and generative. So thanks again for contributing and looking in on 100 Things Men Can Do Now. Hopefully inspired to